Welcome back to In Pursuit 360, and today we are going to be talking about what are you willing to do to become a police officer? How many applications or how many processes have you been through? Are you done? Are you about ready to give up? Why? Why are you ready to give up? So we're going to talk about what is it that you really want to do. Do you really want to be in law enforcement? Do you really want to be a cop? Law enforcement, police officer, deputy, take your pick. Is this your way of life? And that's kind of what we're going to tackle today on In Pursuit 360 is what have you done and what can you do in order to achieve that goal if it's what you truly are meant to do, right? All right, fair enough. In Pursuit 360, and here we go. All right, and here we are. So we're talking about what have you done or what are you willing to do in order to achieve this goal. So if you're watching these videos on this channel, number one, I truly appreciate it. I really do, and I love the comments. Those of you that I've helped out or those of you that feel like I've helped prep you, that's awesome. That is exactly what this channel is all about. So with that being said, how many applications have you put in? How many interviews have you been on? Do you have any idea why you can't get past submitting the written application? Do you have any idea why you can't get past that first interview? Do you have any idea why? Here we go. Why, right? Here we go. Just building this up, right? You can't get past any certain point in any application process. How many departments have you put in for? I mean, I put in for like 5 before I finally got hired. So, I mean, as soon as I turned 21, I put in for the Cobb County Police Department in Georgia. I put in for the Virginia State Police. I put in for the Fairfax County Police. I put in for the Prince William County Police. Who else? I think I put in for the Georgia State Police. That's 5, right? And in each one, I reached different variations of accomplishment, right? And I started as soon as I turned 21. As soon as I was eligible to start putting in, that I knew of anyway, I started putting in, and I made it to different levels. As an example, Cobb County Police Department in Georgia. I got through the initial part and was invited to participate in a polygraph, and I freaked out. I'd never taken a polygraph before. Oh my God, I've done some stuff when I was younger. I'm scared, and I didn't show up. That was on me, right? Virginia State Police. Hey, got a letter. Hey, come on out, take our test. I took the written test, and then we had a physical agility test after that. I got a letter in the mail saying, hey, congratulations, you scored in our over our 95 percentile. However, at this time, we're looking for females and minorities, which, you know, at that time, we're talking back in 1990, 91. I have to do the math real quick. 68, 78 to 88. Yeah, about 90, 91, somewhere in there. Right after I turned 21, I was 21, 22, 23, somewhere in there. And I mean, and that was a big deal, right? I mean, everybody's watching numbers because you get tax breaks and blah, 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 right? More females in law enforcement and so on and so forth. But anyway, the letter actually said that. And I was like, okay, that's so much for that. And I put in for all these different departments, made it to different levels, and I was just about ready to quit. I got married to my first wife, and we built a house, and I couldn't help but constantly look out the window at the driveway and imagine a police car in it. So I'm like, okay, I live in Stafford County. What does the Stafford County Sheriff's Office have to offer? They didn't have any openings for full-time deputies, but they had positions for what they called special deputies, or some agencies call them auxiliary deputies or auxiliary officers, right? So they're kind of like volunteers that go through all the academy training, all the FTO training, and they're certified law enforcement officers within whatever state or jurisdiction you live in. They've got all the powers, all the responsibilities, but they don't get paid. Not usually. Spotsylvania County Sheriff's Office, their auxiliaries are considered part-time, right? Auxiliary, special, police, whatever you want to call them. Theirs are part-time. They get paid whenever they work, but they get paid a part-time rate, right? Have you thought about that? Did you think about it? I wanted into law enforcement. It was my calling, right? I put in for all these different agencies. I kept getting rejected, or I failed to show up, or whatever the excuses may be, or whatever may have happened in my life, but I kept going until I realized, hey, you know what? There's a different option. So I applied for the Stafford County Sheriff's Office Special Deputy Program. And they picked me. And they sent me to the academy. Now, they didn't pay me, but they gave me uniforms. They gave me all my equipment. They sent me to a part-time academy, Tuesday and Thursday nights for 4 hours, plus every Saturday for 8, for many, many months. But at the end, I think it was 7 months, because it was, only 16 hours a week. So at the end of 7 months, I got my Virginia Department of Criminal Justice Services law enforcement certification. And I was a fully fledged, sworn deputy for the Stafford County Sheriff's Office for about 2.5 months. And then they hired me full time. That's how I broke into the game. So those of you that are out there having a hard time right now, law enforcement agencies are shorthanded. However, you have to understand that what they're looking for, the criteria they're looking for, it's got to be high, right? It stays high. They're looking for the cream of the crop, A number one, whatever, right? And so they make sure that they're trying to take the best all the time, best all the time, best all the time. Not that you're not the best. That's not the point. The point is that, oh, look, this one has a 4-year degree. Ding, 1 point up. Oh, look, this one already has state certification. Ding, now they're another point up. You're high school graduate, held down a good job. You've done really well in life. You've not really had any issues, no criminal arrests, blah, 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 blah. And you seem really intelligent. You're here. But, right, they have a degree. Ding. They have prior experience at another agency. Ding. They have state certifications already. Ding. That's how they kind of bump up above you, right? It doesn't mean that you're no good. It doesn't mean that you're not meant to be a police officer. What it means is you got to figure out another way in, okay? You got to figure out another way in. Almost every department or every agency has some kind of an auxiliary, volunteer, or something program that you can get involved in. The trick is get your certification, no matter what it takes. I was hanging gutters on a house, right? Gutters. I was hanging gutters on a house. I was delivering party furniture, and I was working in a gutter warehouse the entire time while I was trying to apply for Stafford and do all these other law enforcement agencies. I did whatever I had to do. I drove a concrete truck. I worked at 2 different toy stores. I took all kinds of jobs. You look at my resume, I swear to you, it's 14 pages long, and most of them are all these little itty-bitty small jobs that I took in between trying to reach where I wanted to be. What are you willing to do to become a law enforcement officer? Are you willing to work for free? Are you willing to not get paid to go through an academy? What does it mean to you? What is it that you are willing to give of yourself to become a professional law enforcement officer? That's the question, isn't it? So if you're having trouble, if you're not picked up by this department, if you're not picked up by this agency, if you're not picked up by this sheriff's office, if you're not picked up by this state agency, right? If you're not picked up by this federal agency, what's wrong with me? Nothing. There's nothing wrong with you. Believe it or not, as shorthanded as law enforcement is, there are a lot of people trying to get into it. And sometimes people slip through the cracks. 9/11, 2001. Terrorist attacks in the United States. The new agency, or it wasn't even new really, it already existed. So the Air Marshals program, right, which was already in existence but was very small, suddenly exploded, right? They were looking for federal air marshals. Federal air marshals! I was working the street in Stafford at the time, right? I was a first sergeant running a shift on the road. 3 or 4 of my fellow deputies had put in to be a federal air marshal right after the terrorist attacks of 9/11. And they got picked up. I put in too. I'm like, hell yeah, federal. I'm all in. Fly around the country, make lots of money. I'm good. I'm in. Right? Never heard a word. Well, come to find out, it wasn't that they weren't interested in me. It's the fact that today they received 3,000 applications. Here they are, 3,000 applications, right? Tomorrow, they received another 3,000. Well, they don't put them in any kind of order. They just keep stacking them on top of each other as it keeps going and going and going. And guess what? I got lost. I got lost in the mix. I put in 3 days too late. The other guys in my department in Stafford that put in for it, that got selected, they put in before I did when it first started, when the stacks were kind of small, right? The stacks were small, stacks were small, stacks were small. But then when I put in for it, the stacks were starting to get bigger. And I got lost in the middle somewhere. I even tried to call. They never knew who I was or that I put in an application or a resume or anything else. So what are you willing to do? What are you willing to do to break into the career field that apparently, if you're watching this video, you are meant to be in? If you're meant to be here, then you are willing to do whatever it may take in order to get into this career field. I am telling you, it is a calling. Right? It is something that you have to feel and you have to believe in order to succeed in. But if it is your calling, like it was mine, God, I loved every minute of it, right? It was never, ever a big deal to go to work. Going to work each day was a relief, right? I didn't experience stress from going to work. So anyway, all right, so there you go. What are you willing to do? What are you willing to do to become a police officer? To join this family of people who have sworn to protect everyone in society. The good, the bad, the ugly. You know, okay, fine. I stole a movie line, right? But you know what I mean? So people that wear the badge that work the street are sworn to protect everyone. Everyone, right? It's not our job to hand out justice. It's our job to bring people before justice, right? So that they can be judged. It's not our job to judge. But anyway, all right, so there you go. There's our topic for today. What are you willing to do to become a police officer? How many times have you been turned down? What have you been doing to overcome that? You put in for 8 agencies, put in for 9. You put in for 12 agencies, put in for 13. Do you get the idea? Find a way in. If it's your calling, if it's where you belong, there is a way in. You just need to find it. Okay? All right. So, hey, do me a favor. Hit the subscribe button down below. More videos to come. I'm going to explain kind of my new theory here in the next video. Someone that I saw that has kind of inspired me to kind of like dive back in and hit this really hard. So hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell notification. I'll tell you when my next video is coming out. Hey, do me a favor, go over, check out Patreon if you want to support what I'm trying to do. I also offer, resume reviews and one-on-one board interview scenario type things that I'll help you out with over there. So go check out Patreon, shoot me an email, write me a comment, give me the thumbs up. If you have to give me the thumbs down, tell me why. And I'll try to make the next video better just for you. All right, so hey, again, thanks for checking out In Pursuit 360, and be safe out there.